We are located 1 mile east of the town of Burkittsville. We're standing on the Hamilton Willard Shafer farm, which was a piece of property that was used during the Civil War by General William Franklin as his observation post or area for the Battle of Crampton's Gap. He was commander of the 6th Corps attached to McClellan's army. He was sent from the rear over to this area basically to break through Crampton's Gap and push his troops down the valley for the relief of Harper's Ferry. He occupied the building for roughly between 24 to 48 hours. He arrived on a Sunday morning and broke later in the day on Monday to move closer to Burkittsville and over the mountain. His orders had changed because he lost the advantage to relieve Harper's Ferry, and the orders were sent him to be in reserve at Sharpsburg.
Paul, on behalf of the Antietam Institute, we'd like to present you with this check to support your efforts in preserving the Shafer farm here in Burkittsville.
Well, we appreciate any effort and donations for the preservation of the Shafer farm. Now, this particular project is a family actually owned the farm for over 100 years, and the last member of the family, basically the resident, died and left the farm abandoned. And the farm was just simply being held as an abandoned piece of property and not let go. And as the house deteriorated, we knew the background and history, and it says, why would you let a piece of property fall into rack and ruin? And I simply approached the remaining family members who reside in Virginia to see if they were willing to let the house go. Now, after a long discussion, it was actually, he simply donated it. And so we picked it up as the Burkittsville Preservation Association. There are actually several tracks we work on. And the first is the real property track itself, which is and it's, you think of it in stages. There's an immediate preservation to the project, which is sealing the building up. And then we will be working over the next few years with interior improvements, but the program will also use of the property. Now, the use of the property for us can be a tourism center, a museum, use of the property for community events. The community events we're talking about, since we're a historic organization in our own right, will be living history, history demonstrations, 19th century life, use of the property, cultural events, and it could be just crafts, storytelling, things that kind of lend itself to the use of the property itself in a historical nature. Antietam Institute has obviously shown an interest, in which we greatly appreciate, and we also know that they have been in support of educational and historic issues over in Sharpsburg. In Burkittsville, we actually do feel we're part of that. What helps with the funds from the Antietam Institute is simply it does help with the projects we participated in. The project overall is from our mission statement. It seems broad, but we find it's doable. It is to preserve the cultural and historic interest of the town of Burkittsville. Its architecture, its open spaces, its history. Now, all those things matter, but they're synergistic in how we want to approach it. You know, this is a real property we obviously want to preserve, but we also want to be able to tell a story from this real property and show the public and the interested what it would have looked like in the 19th century. What did Franklin view? How did he observe the property? You know, he did write an autobiography. He talked about the mountain, the open farm space, the small villages. If you're in the 21st century, you know, you come out and try to experience some of that because it dissolves quickly. And that's what we want to emphasize. Nothing is really permanent unless we make the effort to make it.